Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Terence Bud Crawford in his fight against David Avanesyan. Really quick, if you like the videos, please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get all the subscribers up, and right now, while you're free and you're looking at this, hit that like button. Really quick, just hit that thumbs up. Now let's get back into this video. You know, it's so funny that every time I say that Terence Bud Crawford can punch, people say he can't punch. It's so funny that people say that he's not big enough for the division at 147. First of all, he looked really big. He has completely filled into 147. That's the first thing that I noticed. Even in a weigh-in, I noticed that. But like the night of the fight, he looked really big. He looked strong. He still looked lean. You know, a lot of guys, they'll put a lot of water weight on. You know, it's just like, you were just doing a weigh-in. How are you soft and pudgy today? That doesn't even make sense. But he still looked strong. He still looked lean. He still looked muscular. And I personally think he put on a performance. Now, to all the people who do not watch my videos, this is why you got to watch my videos. Because everything I said in my fight breakdown for David Avanesyan and for Terence Bud Crawford pretty much came through. And I said David Avanesyan was going to do the same old thing, keep walking forward, have a high guard. And what did I say? Terence Bud Crawford was going to keep the distance with that jab and just keep peppering him with the jab and giving him something to stay busy while he was peppering with him with the jab. And I also said he would go to the body. Why? Because David Avanesyan had the high guard, and it was easy to go to the body. And David Avanesyan, being who he is, he's not even going to defend the body. You know, he's just an overall rugged, tough guy. And when you have these tough guys, they're the type of guys who will more or less weather the storm. And that's what he tried to do. And listen, David Avanesyan is not a soft guy. He's a very durable guy. And he tagged Crawford a few times. Unfortunately, he didn't get off enough to where he could repeatedly tag him. But he tagged him a few times. And I knew he would get his hands on Crawford. I'd probably say around round 4, maybe 3, where David Avanesyan got close enough to Terence Crawford. And part of that was his relentless pressure and just, you know, to keep on pressing forward on Terence Crawford. But I believe the way that set up in the end was, I want to say that Terence allowed him in. See, I always talk about traps. I always talk about traps, especially when I'm talking about somebody like Terence Bud Crawford. I always talk about traps. And sure enough, I believe he let David in. Yeah, David was pressing, and yeah, he was trying to cut off the ring. So there's a few things that happened that I said was going to happen. Again, please go back and watch those fight breakdowns. David could press Crawford back. The problem is David would only get one shot off before Crawford would be out the side door. And then what did I also say? I said that Crawford has great wrestling and he knows how to grapple really well. And he controlled the clinches. He controlled every single clinch. And a few times he would just spin David Avanesyan around and just reset. And now he's got to work all the more to get back in a position where he once was, because he didn't know what to do when he was clenched up. And that's a problem. And that's a problem that has plagued him in his career. And that's a problem that will plague him for the rest of his career if his team does not correct that. David Avanesyan does not know what to do in a clinch at all. He's almost clueless to what to do in a clinch. And he just thinks, oh, we're just going to let our hands go. You can just let your hands go, but the reality is I'm going to wrap those hands up. You know, like, you need to learn how to fight in a clinch. You need to learn how to fight out of a clinch. You need to learn how to maneuver yourself. If you don't know what to do when you're on the ropes or if you're in a corner, then maybe you shouldn't be there. Maybe you should have baited Bud back into the center of the ring. But that wouldn't serve him as well. Why? Because Bud was working with spacing. So that wasn't going to serve him either. If let's just say David Avanesyan said, no, we're going to reset. We're going to go back over here. We're going to go back to the center of the ring. That's what we're going to do. it still wouldn't serve him because now Bud has a lot of space behind him and he can recreate that space that he had earlier in the fight. So it's still not going to serve him at all. However, once the spacing was closed in and the gap was closed, Bud in those body shots, again, fight breakdowns, Bud in those body shots, he was just peppering. Bud is not the type of guy, and I said it in the fight breakdown, Bud is not the type of guy who's going to throw 100 million punches in a round. But what he is going to do is he's going to target select shots on the body, and he's going to hit those spots. Over time, things are going to happen. Your arms are going to fall down because you've been just beat up in your ribs. Your arms are going to go down. Now, every time that Bud even lowers his arm, you are psychologically now trained to think that he's going to your body again. But also, it's going to slow you down in terms of cardio. It's going to mess up your legs. You're not if you look at the beginning of the fight, David Avanesyan had a wider stance. Toward the end of the fight, a less wide stance. Why? Because now he's just walking. He's not doing his stance and edging closer. He's just basically walking up on Bud. Which, again, if you have your legs closer together and you don't have a wide stance or a wider stance, well, then it's much easier to back you off with a shot. And Bud had this, again, I said he was going to throw that straight to the body. Bud would just pepper and then just hold David's guard, literally, because it was just literally right here. He would hold it straight to the body. Boom, done. And again, that takes the wind out of you. And he was just slowing him down during the fight. He was breaking him down during the fight. And I look at a lot of people in the comments who love to say that Errol Spence breaks everybody down and Bud doesn't break anybody down. He broke down David Avanesyan. That's what he did. He broke down David Avanesyan. Yeah, that was a beautiful counter. Yeah, that was a beautiful punch that finished that fight. But don't get it twisted. Number one, he set him up. That was a setup. Number two, he broke him down. He broke him down with those body shots. He broke him down. Then he allowed David to come in. And that's when those uppercuts started coming in. So for all you guys, the cult of Errol Spence, who loves to say that, Terence Crawford can't break anybody down and Terence Crawford this and Terence Crawford that. Well, number one, Terence Crawford doesn't have to break you down in the way that Errol Spence has to break you down because Terence Crawford can actually get you out of the ring. With all due respect to Errol Spence, it hasn't been man down for quite some time. And it is what it is. So that's that. Beautiful play by Terence Bud Crawford. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Great infighting. Amazing, amazing. So there was some little critiques. I think it was, matter of fact, it was Regis Prograde. He said, he got hit more than he should have gotten hit. But number one, David Avanesyan is not he's in the top 10. I mean, he's not a slouch. He's in the top 10. He's not a slouch. He's not some weak puncher either. So if he hits you, yeah, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that. I would agree, Bud got hit more than he probably should have. But I also agree with Regis Prograde, who said, I think he got hit on purpose to get himself in position. And I agree with that because, yes, David, throughout the fight, David would crack him Bud one good time. But he never was able to follow up on any of those cracks. It would be something that would graze off of Bud or something like that. And Bud was doing a great job just deflecting, just popping the glove. David would punch, Bud would pop it off. So, again, there was really nothing there. He couldn't, if David hit Bud, he wasn't able to capitalize on what he just did. One, because Bud wasn't going to be there. And two, because Bud was slipping a lot of shots. And he was just smacking a lot of shots out of the way. It was an amazing performance by Bud. And I do believe it was a statement. And I know a lot of people are going to argue, well, David Avanesyan is a nobody. Well, if you follow boxing, he is a somebody. He's not just some walk in a park. That's not a dude you just go and knock out, okay? So he's a somebody. And he was in there arguably with one of the pound-for-pound best we have right now in Terence Bud Crawford. And he was able to tag Terence Bud Crawford. So you can say whatever you want, because I know there's going to be the doubters and the naysayers saying that, oh, well, Terence got hit. It's a fight. I don't care who you are. I've sparred people that, like, I wreck shop. Yeah, but I still got hit in the process. I don't care who you are. Floyd Mayweather's been hit. Muhammad Ali's been hit. Sugar Ray Leonard's been hit. Sugar Ray Robinson's been hit. I don't care who you are. You've been hit. And that's part of the game. So that's like saying, you play basketball, you've never been dunked on. Jordan's been dunked on. Or LeBron James has been dunked on. Kobe's been dunked on. I don't care who you are. If you're on that court, if you are in the NBA, you've been dunked on. And if you box, if you've been in a ring, you've been hit. You've been cracked. You've had your jaw tested more than once. So I don't want to hear that, oh, Bud got hit and David Avanesyan's a nobody. You can say whatever you want, but that dude is a somebody, and Bud showed out. And he closed out the show. He put on a show. People say Bud can't sell. Well, it was sold out. Then they say Bud can't break people down. He just did it. Bud can't punch. He doesn't hit harder than Earl Spence. Wrong. He just knocked another guy out. Bud finishes guys. All right. He finishes them. So, again, you can say whatever you like, but amazing play by Bud. Kudos to you. And this is not an Earl Spence ragging video. It's just, I am sick and tired of everybody putting in the chat that Bud can't punch or Bud can't break people down. Listen, when you get people out of there, you don't need to break them down. You can just get them up out of there. It is what it is. So overall, that was a great fight. And after the fight, of course, Bud alluded back to the Earl Spence fight. Like, yeah, I would love to get that fight. If not, then I'm more than willing to go to 154 pounds and see what me and Charlo can do. I personally do not believe that Earl Spence should be going to 154 pounds at all. Like, stay at 147. Do not go to 154 because Charlo is a different animal. That's not to say that Terence Bud Crawford won't be effective at 154, but I don't think he's beaten Jermell Charlo at any time at 154. I don't care if Jermell Charlo had a cold, a full-blown cold, and was coughing and sneezing in the ring. I think he still beats Terence Bud Crawford. I think that's too much firepower. I think it's too much consistent firepower. I think that cardio is through the roof. I think his power is through the roof. I think his punch output is through the roof. And I think his overall tenacity is through the roof. That jab is relentless, and no. So there you have it. That's my fight recap for David Avanesyan and Terence Bud Crawford. And I look forward to seeing the next one. So without further ado, please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel.